We're taking a look at the real cost of crime in Middle Georgia. When someone goes to jail, local taxpayers are responsible for each of that person's basic needs, including food, clothing, shelter, and medicine. For many communities in our area, running the local jail is among its largest bills. I found out it's true that crime doesn't pay, but it does come at a cost, a big cost to local taxpayers. If you commit a crime in Baldwin County, you could find yourself doing time.
Identity theft, all different types of thefts, burglaries, aggravated assault, murder on occasion.
Major Lynette LaRock says the Baldwin County Jail can house 326 people, but on average, 138 inmates call it home. The sheriff's office is responsible for their needs while they're incarcerated.
We have to provide everything for them.
That can be an expensive burden on taxpayers. It cost $3 million to operate the jail last year. Major LaRock says that's almost half of the agency's budget. It comes down to about $30 a day to house one inmate.
There's so many different duties to correctly run a facility.
Majority of the costs go toward paying the 40 staff members who are in charge of booking and keeping an eye on the inmates at all times.
At least once an hour you need to be in there.
Food costs are a huge budget line item.
Our meals only run about $1.50 per meal. Well, you're feeding them 3 times a day. And you multiply that out and it gets up there around $300,000.
A growing expense is providing health care for inmates.
We have both a legal, a moral, ethical obligation to attend to their serious medical needs.
Beth Eubanks is the Health Services Administrator for the jail. Last year, the Sheriff's Office spent $300,000 on medications. No matter the illness or condition of an inmate, taxpayers are required to pay the bill.
If we have somebody that is on HIV medicine, that medicine can run $2,200, $2,300 per month.
Another big issue is treating mental illness.
We definitely feel like we are the new mental health institution.
Major LaRock says they used to send inmates with mental health needs to Central State Hospital. Now that the campus is closed, the Sheriff's Office spends about $100,000 a year just to get inmates to a facility for treatment.
We do, on average, 1 transport every day to some mental health facility to get folks help. And it's nowhere near here.
The cost to run a county jail can add up, but Major LaRock says it's a price every taxpayer needs to pay.
What would you do if you didn't have a jail? If you had someone who was violent or, you know, running around shooting people, what are you going to do with them? You know, it's just something you have to have.
Major LaRock believes there are alternatives to jail that could help cut costs. Like if an inmate committed a minor crime, such as forgetting to pay child support, put that person on house arrest. But that's the court's decision.
You've got to get your court system folks to be willing to allow it. And if they allow it, hey, we're all for it.
The major adds, if the state could find a solution to help inmates with mental health needs, that would also lift the burden on local taxpayers.
If the state could come up with closer facilities, even privatize more of the mental health facilities so the burden isn't on the state.
Not locking people up is another way the Sheriff's Office can keep costs low. Despite what some people may think, Major LaRock says that's their goal.
We all know the liability and expense of that, and we would prefer them not be here. I tell them all the time, they're on down, don't come back, don't come back. I'll see you on the street, just don't come back.
Major LaRock says about 90% of the inmates locked up will be incarcerated again. We wanted to find out the costs involved with running other Middle Georgia jails. The Bibb County Jail's budget is a little more than $16.5 million. The facility holds almost 970 inmates, and it costs about $51 a day to house just one of them. Majority of the budget goes toward personnel costs and medical expenses. The Houston County Jail costs taxpayers $12.5 million a year. The facility holds almost 670 inmates. It costs about $61 a day to take care of one of them. Most of the expenses go toward personnel costs, feeding, and medical care. The jail administrator tells 41 NBC the Sheriff's Office has stayed under budget for the last 3 years.